Dear future, the year is 2021, and I am a human that's alive today. My name is Shahana. For some reason, every time I say my name, I feel a tad bit removed. I'm like, is that actually my name? As if there's me, and then there's this name that I call myself. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because my name changed 5 times when I was a kid. I actually picked this name, Shahana. It's Urdu of Arabic origin. It means queen or royalty. And I picked the name when I was like 10, so obviously, hello future human. I'm talking to you from Philadelphia in the United States of America. I wonder if they're still united in the future. It is February 11th at 2 p.m. I'm talking to you because of a few things. While otherwise considered a bit of a morbid fascination, I've always been enamored with the idea of mortality. My friends would say that I'm perpetually living on an existential precipice. I think it just goes back to the first time that I actually conceived the idea of death. Like most, the death of a grandparent. And as hard as it was for the then 15-year-old that I was to deal with it, I ended up taking out the time to wrap my head around the idea that one day we'll actually cease to exist, and I think that just blew my mind. Just the notion that as we live every single day, we're slowly decaying. I remember one night I was on my phone and I was scrolling through my phone's calendar, and I just kept calculating and imagining how old I would be as each year passed, until I reached a point on the calendar when I realized there is no possible way that I could exist at that point. I mean, unless I'm a vampire. Or, we finally found a way to upload our consciousness to an eternal simulation, which really wouldn't be so bad. Some people argue that we're living in a sim today, that we're living in the Matrix right now. Do you know what the Matrix is? What if the Matrix was real this whole time? What if this entire thing is a sim? I'm getting distracted. I'm a rabbit hole kind of person. I mean, I could go down one and you'd never see me again. I always joke that I'm never fully here, like my brain's always somewhere else. Yeah, I think about that a lot, actually. They say it's an Aquarius thing, the aloofness. Is astrology still a thing in the future? Didn't they come up with a new zodiac sign a few years ago? And it threw everyone off. Like, if you thought you were one thing, you found out you're not, and then your entire existence just... yeah. I like being an Aquarius, though. We're cool. I became a bit fascinated with archival videos. You know those old black and white videos of people from the past? Just walking around in the streets, performing their daily tasks, just going about their day. I just started asking myself, did these people ever think about the people in the future? Did they ever think about us? And the fact that we would one day be watching them. I think that's where my love of the camera came from. I just find it kind of magical to know that when we take a picture or make a video, we are capturing or documenting life in that moment. I've been making videos or taking pictures since what feels like forever. I have hard drives full of unseen videos, places I've been, people I've known, and it was along this path of visually, documenting and chronicling life that one day I just kind of thought, what if somebody from the future discovered these videos in the way that I watch videos from the past, but only this time the videos were addressed to them. The videos were addressed to the future. Somebody from the past actually spoke to them. And I don't know, I just thought the idea of that would be so cool. Like, if there were videos from the past that were speaking to us in the present, I don't know, in a way it just feels like you're reaching out to a different time. In this fantasy of mine, I just imagined somebody from the year 2200 coming across this video, and as they hit play, it's just someone from the past saying hello. And the thought of being able to somehow communicate a part of today's human story to some hypothetical future person, it got me really excited. I'm not a historian or a world leader or an academic or an authority on anything, really. I'm just a person that just so happens to be alive today and wants to share a part of the world as I see it. The way I see it is that history books will cover all the big things and the grand stuff and Lord knows what, but these are the small things, the everyday things. For now, these videos will just live on the internet, but over time I'll collect all these videos and store them, underwater or in a bunker so that they survive, the apocalypse. And just hope somebody finds this someday. And if no one does, at least I did something with all my thoughts. I'm speaking to you, future human, as I imagine you in a post-apocalyptic wasteland due to climate change. Or the fact that we still fight over man-made borders in the future. Or, a pandemic does us all in. Speaking of which, what better time to chronicle life than today? We're in the middle of a pandemic! We've been living with COVID-19 for over a year now. It's kind of crazy that we're experiencing this considering the last pandemic was in 1918, but here we are! I'm sure you already know all the facts or that they're easily available to you because of the Wi-Fi devices that have been installed in your brains or whatever future technology. So I'm not going to bore you with the statistics or the politics. I'm just going to share with you what it's like to live during a pandemic. Please tell me humanity has learned to wash their hands regularly. Please tell me history has stopped repeating itself. I'm presuming you want some context. But first, the headlines. Biden cancels funding for Trump border wall. China bans BBC World News in an apparent retaliatory move. Released Saudi activist family want justice. Milan thieves use Instagram to rob celebrities. Number 1 on Billboard's Hot 100 is Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo. I have no idea what that song is. I just feel like music is such a great timestamp, you know? I wonder which musicians will actually stand the test of time, or if the idea of legacy can truly exist. So some things about me. I'm 33 years old. For what I know right now, I am a cisgender heterosexual woman, but that is a discussion for another day. I am Pakistani, Pathan to be specific. I am an American immigrant. In today's world, we label human beings by color for some reason. So I'm brown, and that is also a discussion for another day. As I get older, I'm increasingly uncomfortable with labels. I laugh at my own jokes. I'm a bit socially awkward. I am what they call an extroverted introvert. I think. I've always got one eye on the elephant in the room. I consider myself pretty average height, average weight. Google tells me my weight is below average, and that makes me feel good. And that's because we live in a time where we struggle with body image, and I'm not immune to that struggle. There are lots of things about today that are great. We've made a lot of changes as human beings, honestly, in the last decade alone, but there are still lots of things that are quite problematic. One of my favorite quotes is by Bono, you know, the lead singer of U2. You know, I don't know if I can expect you to know this when Gen Zers don't know who U2 is. Anyway, every age has its massive moral blind spots. We might not see them, but our children will. I love that. Simply because of the fact that it teaches me to not hold on so stubbornly to things that we think that we know, to question what we think we know, and how future generations honestly just bring some much needed perspective to the conversation. This isn't to say that we shouldn't hold on to some tried and tested values, but I've always been a believer that we need to test our values and experiment with them in foreign waters and see how well they hold. Please tell me that we've stopped caring about what people look like in the future. I can tell you that from this century, it's only hurt more than it's helped. I'm an actor. I say that with a bit of confusion because I honestly don't know what I am anymore. COVID has sort of thrown off a lot of our plans. In some ways, it's like a rude awakening, and others a necessary one. We're all a bit wrecked inside. A lot of us are going through the worst time of our lives. Unsure and uncertain of where we're going next or what's going to happen. I mean, I've personally hit my own version of rock bottom. I'm failing in some ways, succeeding in others. Due to 2020, a lot of us have had to change our paths or change parts of who we are. I mean, I for one developed anxiety during 2020, and I'm slowly making peace with the fact that having anxiety doesn't necessarily make me weak. I'm so curious about the struggles of your world. Is it wealth and poverty, hunger, war, gender wars, climate, immigration, aliens? Because obviously the aliens have shown up by now. I mean, it can't just be us. It is so narcissistic to presume that we're the only ones here. God, I have so many questions. But for now, I'll settle with this. It is really exciting to me to be able to share little bits of our everyday with you, should you find this. Or, I don't know, we could have a nuclear apocalypse and all of this goes to shit. Oh well. For now, this is me trying. Until next time, future human.